Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and explore a really fascinating strategy, one that challenges absolutely everything society has taught us about work, wealth, and achieving true financial freedom. We're going to look closely at a roadmap designed to help you exit the traditional 9-to-5 grind in just 90 days. And hey, let me be clear right out the gate. No, this isn't about some overnight internet get-rich-quick scheme. It's actually about a fundamental shift in how you view the entire world of business and income.
So, we start with the reality that is honestly just so incredibly relatable and exhausting. Almost everyone experiences that quiet, uncomfortable moment of doubt on a random weekday morning. You know the feeling, right? You wake up tired, but you force yourself up anyway. You make the coffee, you sit in bumper-to-bumper traffic, you open your laptop, and this thought just quietly pops into your head. Is this really my life? And it's not even because your job is inherently evil or your boss is terrible. It's because you suddenly realize you are trading the absolute best years of your life away simply to survive.
The alarm blares at 6:30, the commute begins, the repetitive meetings happen, and then the long wait just to go home. The hardest part about this whole timeline is that most people around you act like this normalized exhaustion is completely fine. We normalize stress. We normalize having to ask for permission just to take a vacation. We slowly drift into this routine because, well, we were told it was the safest thing to do. But while you're doing that, years slip away as you build someone else's dream, basically putting your own life on hold for a later that honestly might never come.
All right, so let's get into Section 1, the 9-to-5 trap, the supposedly safe path.
There's a really stark contrast between how employees and wealthy people view money. And here's the wild part. Income alone isn't wealth. Why? Because a salary gives you temporary income. It literally pays you exactly once for your effort. The second you stop working, the money stops. Ownership, on the other hand, that gives you leverage. Ownership continues paying you continuous cash flow long after the initial work is done. That is exactly why so many people making high six-figure salaries still feel incredibly financially anxious. Sure, they have income, but they don't own their time or any actual systems.
Moving right along to Section 2, the big startup myth. Building from scratch.
You know, social media influencers often hide a pretty brutal reality, which is that starting a business from absolute zero is unbelievably difficult. You have no customers, no reputation, and zero predictable income. Every single decision feels incredibly risky because one tiny mistake can destroy months of work. You're out there spending money on ads that just don't convert, stressing about rent, and working nonstop while making almost nothing in the beginning. It's exactly this fear of building from nothing that keeps super intelligent people trapped in jobs they absolutely hate.
Which brings us to Section 3, and this is where it gets really good, the hidden game, which is acquisitions.
What if you just skipped the hardest part? By stepping into a business that already works, you instantly gain incredible leverage. Think about it. You take over a business that already has proven revenue, customers who are buying every single month, trained employees, and working systems. You get to completely bypass that grueling, soul-crushing survival phase of a new startup. Instead of spending years begging strangers to trust you, you acquire instant momentum. It's a real game changer.
So let's talk about where to look in Section 4, the boring business boom, solving real problems.
Forget the flashy crypto hype. Forget personal brands or trying to go viral. The actual, life-changing wealth is being generated in completely unglamorous sectors. We're talking about highly profitable, boring businesses. Laundromats, car washes, HVAC companies, vending machines, self-storage facilities. Look, there is absolutely nothing glamorous about a local cleaning company or a logistics business, but they solve real, tangible problems. And because they solve real problems, they generate more consistent, reliable cash flow than a lot of doctors make working full-time. Wealthy people have quietly built massive fortunes owning exactly these types of everyday operations.
Now, why does this matter to you right now? Because millions of older generation business owners are retiring. This is a massive, historic opportunity unfolding literally right in front of us. Many of these owners spent decades building these profitable, boring businesses, but their kids just don't want to run them. The owners are burned out, or maybe they're dealing with health issues, or they simply want to cash out and finally enjoy their lives. There is an enormous transfer of profitable businesses happening, and honestly, most people are completely oblivious to it because they're too busy scrolling on their phones.
To actually take advantage of this, you have to make a massive mindset shift. You have to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. Employees ask, how much do I get paid per hour? But owners ask, how much revenue does this system generate every month? That mental shift alone completely changes the trajectory of your future because you start evaluating the world based on systems and cash flow rather than just trading your precious hours for dollars.
Now, I can hear you thinking, okay, but I could never afford to buy a whole business. But hold on, you don't need to buy a skyscraper in Manhattan. The process often works through something called seller financing. Step 1 is just finding that retiring owner. Step 2 is establishing trust. You see, a lot of these owners care deeply about their legacy. They want someone who will take good care of the business they built over decades. If you align with their legacy, step 3 becomes totally possible, negotiating seller financing. This is where the owner allows you to make payments over time out of the business's own profits. They often care way more about finding the right buyer than getting every single dollar up front in cash.
Let's bring it all together in Section 5, the 90-day mindset shift. Learning ownership.
Because look, the urgency here is absolutely real. As we approach 2026, the old promise that a job equals absolute security, that is collapsing rapidly. Technology and AI are replacing tasks faster than anyone expected. Layoffs can literally happen overnight. The irony here is that what people considered risky for decades, business ownership, may actually become much safer than depending entirely on a single employer. When you own cash-flowing assets, you have actual control and real optionality.
To put this into practice today, you can use platforms like Yescapo.com. And again, this isn't about fake guru schemes. These are real businesses with real revenue and real customers that are currently for sale. Spending just 1 hour a day on these platforms for the next 90 days helps you stop seeing the world merely as a worker. It trains your brain. You start spotting real revenue opportunities everywhere. Maybe it's a local business with terrible marketing or an owner who's clearly ready to retire. You literally start learning how businesses are valued and what actually makes them healthy.
The ultimate takeaway of our explainer today is this, and I really want you to let this sink in. True freedom. The freedom to control your time, to choose how you work, to travel, and to escape constant financial anxiety does not come from renting out your entire life forever. It only comes from ownership. It comes from acquiring assets that generate cash flow. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. You have a choice in how you invest your time and your focus starting tomorrow morning. What's it going to be? Will you spend the next 90 days just grinding away as an employee, desperately waiting for the weekend? Or will you spend it learning how to become an owner, studying acquisitions, and finally understanding the profound difference between just earning money and owning the systems that create it?